We wanting to instill the spirit of reading, spirit of value for a book.
Today, so many children are facing difficulties in developing their skills and they are not able to develop them properly. But now onwards, you are not going to face any difficulties because now you can join Dr. Kiran Bedi's book reading session.
Birds of the same feather, cut from the same cloth, peas from the same pod. These are all sayings that we hear on a daily basis. And yet, it is so hard to find a similar bird in your life. But not here. Welcome to the book reading session with Dr. Kiran Bedi.
My hobbies are to read, sing, dance, and swim. I feel when I'm doing these activities, I am relaxed and I get refreshed.
I like playing different kind of sports like badminton, tennis and basketball. I planted many kind of saplings and I love to maintain them. Watching them grow makes me really happy. My special talent is to make arts and crafts, and here are some which I made.
My interests are reading books, writing short stories of my own, singing, dancing, painting and drawing, and participating in various extracurricular activities.
My interests are playing sports with friends, cycling to school, drawing, making desserts out of cocoa powder, and most importantly, reading fantasy novels.
My hobbies are playing tennis, writing stories and songs, watering plants, playing with children, and most importantly, I find happiness in playing the piano.
My hobbies include listening to music, dancing, singing, and gardening. And recently, I have found an interest in painting. And this is my first painting.
Apart from all the books I read, I find Mahabharata very interesting because of the characters from the same story. Although there are many characters, Krishna, Bhishma and Arjuna are my favorite ones because they are inspiring, at the same time very powerful. I've learned a lot by reading the same book.
Out of all the books that I've read, I found the Harry Potter series most captivating because it emphasizes on teamwork and not giving up even if you face many challenges, in addition to a gripping storyline.
Out of all the books I have read, The Magic of the Lost Story, written by Sudha Murthy, is my favorite. I love the way how she portrays the importance of each relationship and values in her book. This book in particular captures the values of asking questions and keeping the answers alive. This is why I go back to her books again and again.
My favorite book out of all the books I've read so far is The Tale of the Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton. It was one of the first books that I ever liked. I read it way before COVID-19. It was the only book that opened my eyes to the fantasy realm.
Out of all the books which I have read till date, my most favorite book is the Bible. And you know why? It is because I read it every day and I find answers to whatever the problems or the doubts which I have. And not only that, it also motivates me to be a good person towards everybody.
I have read many children's novels and storybooks, but my most favorite is the Bible. It talks us through the journey of the times when Jesus was on earth, and it also talks about the miracles he performed. I gain my spiritual strength by reading the Bible, and it also helps me in my day-to-day life.
Jai Dharima to all of you. God bless you. Ma bless all of you. We welcome our audience. God bless you. You all are very innocent children. It's very apparent. Mummy, over to you. They're going to talk to you about themselves. They have their questions, and the topic is one change they would like to see in their own country. Ji. Just a special mention, they are all from Global Ed School, Hyderabad. There are 4 campuses in Hyderabad, and Harshita ma'am has helped us in coordinating this event. Ji.
Excellent. I'm so happy to welcome this group. I want to thank the team Demonstrative Learning behind the scene. I want to thank Saina and thank you all children and most of all your school, the Global Edge School. Thank you all children and thank the coordinator who enabled it. Who?
Harshita ma'am, yes.
Harshita.
Harshita
Thank you
ma'am,
so much, Harshita, for your school, the Global Edge School. And you are in Hyderabad. Am I right?
yes. Ji.
Thank you so much for joining us. Want to ask you, what is it that you love about the school? Why is it so good? What makes it so good? Okay, let me begin with Mirtuka. Mirtuka, what makes
Yes,
your school so good? What do you think?
Mirutika, right?
Mir-
Mirutika.
yes, ma'am. It's Mirutika.
Okay, Mirtuka, would you like to tell us what is it that makes your school so good?
So, ma'am, firstly, every child like gets scared on their first day of school. But the one thing I mostly love about my school is the friendship the teachers show, and they make us so comfortable, and they make us get open with themselves. So this is the
Can you
one.
recall? Can you recall any example which happened, which impacted you?
Yes, ma'am. In my first year in this school, I had to attend a competition which was organized by the school. I was so nervous that the teacher could see me shivering. But then she came over to me, she talked to me, and made me like go calm. And I really did great in that competition.
Which was the class? Which class were you in that time?
I was in first grade back then.
Oh, the first grade itself.
Yes, ma'am. So I
Wow.
love the way how they like show their focus into each and every child and notice their actions.
Oh,
So I
can you
can say
name?
because of her,
Can you
because
name the
of
teacher?
yes, ma'am, it was Swapna, ma'am, and I'm really thankful to her because she built my confidence a lot.
What did she do? Pat you on the shoulder, hug you? What did she do?
She first holded my hand, told me that there is nothing to worry about, and everybody will be listening to you, and they won't judge you at all. So I could just be myself and talk my heart out.
And you were so how old were you at that time?
Mm, um, I was, I think, 10.
So young, pretty good. 10 is a good age. Were parents telling you this also? What the teacher told you?
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, from like a very young childhood, they all the parents encourage their children. So just like that, my parents also encourage me to not to get so stressed about something and not to worry about what others will think about you, but just be yourself.
So your teacher helped added on what was it was plus
Yes,
for.
ma'am. It's actually a wonderful thing because more than we listen to our parents, the words put in by our teachers are the most important to us.
Oh, that's wonderful indeed. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Let me
Thank you,
ask
ma'am.
Anuguna, what do you like about your school? She said, Mithika said that it was the friendship of the teacher, the support of the teacher. What about you?
What I like about our school is equal opportunities that are given to all the students. All students, no student is left behind. Everyone is given the same opportunity. Everyone is given the same treatment. And the second thing is that in our school, I mean, in every school this happens. We all get to make friends, and at the same time, we create amazing memories. So, yeah.
Can
That's
you
what
recall any instance to prove what you said?
uh, the memories one.
Any recall of any instance you feel that's the impression you got?
Um, so we have these school trips. So where they take us outside the school. So in the trips we get to hang out with our friends. We get to, and the teachers also, they are, they won't scold us or anything if in those trips they're kind to us. In those trips they try to enjoy with us. So yeah.
What kind of efforts your school makes in that you know your entire class? Every class we remember, we are very close to 4, 5, 6 friends. We have a group. But sometimes we're a class of 20, 30, even 40 sometimes. Do we know all? How does a school make an effort to make you all know all 40 rather than the 15 or 20 or 10?
In the first few days of a new academic year, they put these activities, and they try to put us in groups, and they tell us to meet new people. They actually encourage us. They tell us to, come out of our comfort zone and talk to people outside our little friend zone, so that we'll learn to socialize, and we'll learn to increase. We'll get those qualities that everyone needs to have as they grow up, as they grow old.
I'll give you an example, and you can probably, if it's happening, it's excellent. If it is not happening, maybe you can suggest it in your class. One is, do not sit with the same friend every time you sit. Your desk changes. Does it happen?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Every month we have a new partner that we can talk with,
Every
and
month is too late. What about every day? The class changes. The class, the girl or the boy or the friend sitting to your left or next or right or behind changes. So that every day you make a new friend or you get to know the person closely. This is one idea. It just struck me while discussing with you, because the object now for the future is to have stronger networks and not get limited to 10 or 20. If you're in a class of 40, know everybody. One. And how do you know everybody? Is Eunice, I'm just suggesting an idea. Maybe you can respond. How do you know everybody? Eunice, any idea before I give you mine?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, even in our school, we keep our teacher keeps changing our places every 2 weeks, so that we can talk to everyone and not just our own little friend zone.
Yeah.
Same thing happens.
Does it happen? Lindsay, does it happen?
Yes, ma'am, it actually happens.
How?
Apart from this, another example is about teamwork, and the teacher, he or she divides our class into groups, and they assign a particular activity. Apart from doing that work, we also get to know a little more about each other.
Hmm. Group is good. Group changing of groups also, you get to learn and listen to each other, and you'll remember whatever he or she said. But changing the class, let's say friend, every time you see a new friend, every day you see a new friend on your left and on your right, particularly, not ahead, because you can't keep turning your head all the time, but the one on your left and one on your right. Sometimes it gets repeated and sometimes it gets first hand. So you make a new friend. And then you and then you again, when you meet in the group, you're revising. What do you think, Tanish? Tanish?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as you asked, ma'am, in our class it's only 28, and in every class it's below 30. So we'll be able to interact with everyone, ma'am. In our side row, in our front row, there are so many people to interact, ma'am, like to our friends. So
But do you have a friend on your left and right occasionally
yes, ma'am.
changed?
Yes, ma'am. It
How?
is like if we have a four rows, it keeps rotating, ma'am. Which is the one who sits in the first bench, the next day he comes to second. So it's like that. So we'll be able to interact with everyone, ma'am, every day.
Tejaswini, does it happen that you know the each friend of yours? What are the friends' strengths and what are the specialities? Some child loves jokes, some child loves.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
yeah, tell us what happens. Do you know each other
Ma'am,
all
so,
the 30?
ma'am, so maybe not like in depth, but then I definitely know like at least a little basic information about everyone in my class. And then also the teachers make sure that no one is left out because in lunch everyone will be sitting together. There's always like one or two people left out. So even last time this happened last year and even this year, teacher encourages us go sit with them, go talk to them and all of that, so nobody is left out. Like even if their friend or someone they are close to is absent, they encourage them to sit with new friends and all of that. So the teachers make a lot of effect for lot of effort for everyone to mingle, and then they also keep changing the sections every year. So that's when they shuffle everyone so that in each year you get to meet like new set of people.
Do you sometimes be asked to stand up to say, okay, mention how many names of your friends can you mention? And somebody who can mention all 30 gets full marks. Does it happen? Who gets full marks for saying you got a class of 30? Mention the names of all the 30 and tell us all about the 30. Where do they live? And what are their strengths? Somebody's got very good in athletics, somebody's very good in painting, somebody's good in singing. Do you know their pet names? In fact, you know what, these days, as you grow older, the real bond is by the pet name. You know, hey, your name is Eunice, but we used to call her Nice. So you Eunice, no, you were that nice. So you make a pet name, and the pet name emotionally connects you because the pet name is with love, and the school name is something like addressing a person the right way. So you make a short of that name. Does it happen, or can it not happen? Mritika, what do you think?
Some it happens.
Ma'am, it does happen in our school. So, like Manogna said, every year academic starting, we have an icebreaker session where we know all each other's names and all. So, in our school, basically, there is shuffling every year. So, we know our whole ninth grade batch. We know each and every person in other sections also. So we have this
Yes.
icebreaker session in each class, knowing everyone's name for the first few days. And during the end of the week, we have an activity where one person should try to remember the other person's name and their hobbies. So when we do that, we get appreciation from the teachers.
Do you know there's an art of remembering names? There's an art of remembering names and faces. Do you know there's an art? I've seen many people, though I'm very bad at that myself, but I've seen many people, if they've been introduced to 70 people, they can trace all the 70 names. It's an art. It's an art. I think it's an art which can be given in schools, can be given to school children. Why am I saying this again and again? Because the more I read about young men, future ahead, and some of you even questioned it, what future ahead? What is the key thing for the youth to handle? And one of the repeated research is networks. Word is networks. And who better network than your own school friends? All old school friends, because the kind of memories you stay with don't get it cannot be repeated because you grow in age. What you did as a 10-year-old and what you did as a 7-year or a 10-year and a 12-year-old and a 40-year-old, you don't do that as an 18-year-old. And by the time you're entering college and by the time you're entering your profession, these memories become sound friends. Oh, my school friend. And you begin from where you left. You don't go back. You are a friend forever. So I think it's an idea for you. Would you like to take this to ma'am Asina? What do you think?
The children will share it with their ma'am,
Yeah,
share it lovingly with their ma'am.
yeah. So you can share it with your ma'am. Say, we would like to do this exercise in the school. Please train us to remember the names. So the name is then linked to some visualization, some quality, some quality, because that's what happened in our training. And unfortunately, this doesn't happen in all training institutes. Like, for instance, my police training, the entire batch. I knew half of my batch. I didn't know that, don't remember the names of other batches. But those first half of the batch we know them more by pet name. If somebody was a Bhattacharya, we call him Bhattu, and he loves it. You see? So we never can call him Bhattacharya. We call him Bhattu. And we all have laugh and we become children again. So, Lindsay, what do you like about your school most?
What I like most about the school is about the way how they give activities, like for example physical activities. Like today only I got to spend a lot of time with my friend during our games period when we went to the ground and we played some throw ball. So I felt it was fun, especially when it's more time is given to spend with friends.
Hmm. Eunice, what do you like about your school most?
Same thing, ma'am. We get a lot of extracurricular activities, and also we have so many like competitions inter school, inter house. So we all get the chance to participate, and the teachers also recognize our talents. So they encourage us. Why don't you go to this? If they know that this competition is like we're good at this, if it's an art competition, then they encourage us. So I like that. Yes.
Kanish, what about you?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's about the staff, ma'am. From my kindergarten till now, all the teachers are beyond teachers, ma'am. They interact with us so much. They speak to us. They just don't come to our class, explain the topic, and leave. They just interact with us. They'll know what happened throughout the day, yesterday, day before yesterday. So that's fun, and there are so many competitions. And like Eunice said, we become sportive, ma'am. That makes us sportive, so I really like about that, ma'am. And our school is huge, ma'am, so it's really nice to spend a lot of time with us in infrastructure and school, ma'am.
Do you understand now, children? Do you think during our time, extracurricular activities were considered as, oh, you're running away from examinations, preparation marks, and your examination preparation? Now, extracurricular activities is the new education policy so integral. Are you feeling the change? What is the change you see, Tejaswini?
Ma'am, so first they used to ask us to like before, like as you said in your time, it was considered detour from academics, but then now they want us to focus more on extracurricular activities, and then we also have this no bag day in our school where they like we throw aside the books and then only do on activities, only activities for the entire day, so that you can develop holistic. There's like holistic development and all of that.
Now that is wonderful. That is why do you know why they're doing this now? Is it only because of the new education policy or otherwise? Why do you think extracurricular activities now are being prioritized? Why do you think, Brituka?
I feel that from the researches our country has done from past all these years, it greatly shows that a child who is very good at extracurricular activities aces in his academics. So while doing the extracurricular activities, he refreshes his or her brain and gets fit so that he doesn't fall sick and miss out on his studies. So this is, I think, one of the main reasons why extracurricular activities are being like pushed into our curriculum.
What do you think, Manogla?
Yes, ma'am. As Mirutika said, extracurricular activities they give us a break from looking into the textbook, reading, trying to memorize all that. We're actually all that definitions that are there. We're actually seeing how they work. We're actually learning them in real life. We're not just memorizing it like they used to before. We're not just studying for exams. We're learning. We're learning for our development, our actual human development. That's what
What
is.
do you think,
Uh,
Tanish? Why Manogna? Can you say add on to what Mritika or Manogna said? Anything to add?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as our like according to our school, according to my class teacher, ma'am, she says some people when they hear it, they get it. Some people when they read it, they get it. But some people when they go through activities, they'll get it more.
That's right.
So
It's by doing.
yes, ma'am.
Doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, doing what? Doing what? Is it playing? Is it painting? Is it singing? Is it athletics? Is it community giving? What is it? What is that doing in your extracurricular?
Ma'am, we have different kind of group activities where we interact with everyone and teamwork is being done. We have different kind of activities in the ground, like for example in physics motion we played a game, and we know we uniform and uniform motion
The
we.
experiments
Yes,
of
ma'am.
your subject.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think, Lindsay?
Yes, ma'am, that's also the same thing. Sometimes they take us to the science lab and perform experiments, and that feels really interesting, and then we can learn from those experiments.
Do they involve you in the cleaning up of the school called Shramdan? Do they involve you all in Shramdan of the school, planting trees, de-weeding, or cleaning up your classrooms, etc.? What do you think they just need?
Ma'am, so they do encourage us to clean our classrooms, and we used to have this. We still have it in the start of the academic year. Every day, student council members used to come into our room and check which grade has the best classroom, and then give them a badge or something like that for it. So everyone is like that time. Everyone is focused on cleaning their room. Every time someone sees a trash, they put it and go in put it in a dustbin. They clean their places just so that it's so they connect doing good work with rewards. So it is very engaging, and people are motivated to do it.
I'll tell you why I'm asking this more and more. Saina, let me explain to you why am I probing this. There's a reason. And the reason is that you're all going to be entrepreneurs. You will all be choosing professions of your choice, right? This is the time for you to explore yourself. For yourself, what is it that you love doing? What is it that you love doing, not like doing? What do you love doing? And when you love something, you enjoy doing. And when you enjoy doing, you don't get tired. You're enjoying it. You're happy in it. You never go back to say, "Oh, mama, it's been a terribly exhausting day." Instead, you go back home, say, "Daddy, I loved everything today. I did this. I did this. I did." Why? Because you enjoyed it. So all these extracurricular activities, my children, is to ask you, not ask you, for you to know yourself. You know yourself. And you know what? You are all different children. Everybody has their own love, own preference, own choice, own source of joy. Every child is unique. Every life is unique. Like, for instance, when I'm theorizing, let me give you an example. When I started my college in the 11th standard, then we have 11th standard was college. Now you have 12th onwards. Then we had 10th standard as our starting our college. And what did I start with? What did I prefer? As a 14-year-old girl, what did I prefer? NCC, National Cadet Corps. I wanted to wear a uniform. As a 14-year-old girl, which later on as a 22-year-old girl, I wore my IPS uniform. But as a 14-year-old girl, I chose the uniform. It was a part of optional subjects, right? So what I'm saying, something is inherent in all of us, and the colleges, schools give you an option to choose, to explore, not choose, explore, and then you choose. So that takes you towards greater growth. But you also learn what's your hobby. Now, what is hobby? Hobby is something which is you like doing by yourself. You're volunteering to do. So in a way, your extracurricular activities, I want you all a message. When you do all this, you will look at what is it that you're enjoying most. That's your heart's desire. That's going to be adding to your entrepreneurship, innovation, originality, something creative, something new you will create. Maybe you do a startup on that, or you make friends. And number two, why did I say friends? I had a reason for these two things. One, explore while you're doing innovate extracurricular. Whatever is your it could be music, it could be science, it could be biology, it could be zoology, it could be playing, whatever. And the second, why did I say more friends? Because you never know who you're going to work with later. Because you're not going to be working alone. This way, you have friends all over the world. So you travel, you say, I'm coming and I'm being home with you. I'm not going to stay anywhere else. I'm going to join you. So you build up your friendship. And today, the good news is we never had these WhatsApps, we never had these emails and WhatsApp. Today, WhatsApp, you have them. You can stay connected. Earlier, we used to have those theory diaries. Diaries got lost. We had the phone numbers, they got lost. They had no email, we got lost. This way, you all have emails and WhatsApp to stay connected. So you have friends and you have things you enjoy and you take over. So even if you go into a profession, you will add to that with this joy. You'll play in that, you will art, you'll story tell, you read. Maybe you have reading classes, reading books. So you read, so you get to know reading club. You also have clubs. That's the reason I asked you. Understand why I was exploring all this? Know more of your friends, know their pet names, and we used to have a sticker. Many times when you do a conference, you do a sticker and you write the first name. Like, for instance, Eunice, I don't know her surname, but she will be the E. Nice. E nice. She'll be E nice. Oh, she's E nice. Nobody will forget her name. She's E nice, but she's Ennis. But E nice. Oh, she's the E nice. So everybody laughs and giggles. So there's a joy in that. And you have a sticker called E nice. Nice. E nice. So Lindsay. So it's so easy to know your first name. So this way. Ideal is even on the school, all the time you have your badge of name. I think you have, but badge of name so that every child can. So this was my reason, children. You get it? Get what I said? Saina, you get my point? Why I said all this?
जी ma'am, जी.
What is it? Two things I said. Two things. Can you sum up for me? What are the two things I said?
I think what you like is that you like them to
Love.
know each
Love.
other, know
Yeah.
each other, and
Be friends with each other.
be friends with each other and know their names,
Yeah.
and make it a point to remember
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. And also learn the art of remembering names and faces. That would be a great idea because at the moment you do these kinds of practices. Maybe you can request the school, or I request the school through this program to train you to remember faces, the art of remembering names, which later on we forget. Okay, I have your questions. Let's get into the Q&A. Mithu, your turn. Your question.
Yes, ma'am. So my question to you is that what do you think the current youth generation is missing on the way to success?
You see, these are your questions which actually triggered my thinking before I joined the session. You understand? Now, here are my points which I thought for you. Number one, most important is that you are all in a very, very huge pressure to succeed. All the time under pressure. I've got to win. I've got to get full marks. I've got to do better than this. Right? I've got to be known. I've got to get my medal. There's always a pressure. I think that's one of your major challenges, is what you think current generation is missing, is the way how do you handle this pressure to always be the medalist, always be better than your other friend, always to tell your parents. Not only you, we too in our generation were under pressure to win. But while you are under a pressure, how do you handle this pressure? Is these are the techniques which you will learn as you read, as you say. Second is you're also under the pressure of the right mentor. Who is your mentor? Whether it's becoming an autobiography of a book, a person living or dead, mentor. The second is your challenge to my mind is your who is your mentor. Third, my friends, is the pressure of strong skills. Very, very important. Strong skills important. Now, enjoyable skills, but strong. What will build you? Strong skills are character traits of discipline, right kind of habit formation. These are your majors. If that was your question, am I right on your question? You said, what do you think
Yes.
the current youth generation is missing on their way to success? One, as I told you, is learning the art of handling stress to win all the time. But you don't win all the time. You must also learn the art of losing and then preparation to win again. You will not, nobody's been a Wimbledon champion last 10 years. They've all had a different champion, by and large. By and large. Or if they've been for 3 years consecutively, 4 years consecutively, as some of the women were, a day comes when they don't. How do they handle failure? They don't break their rackets then. Like Racely, you saw one chick, what did he do? He broke his racket and he was fined. Oh my God, how he smashed his racket. This is the things which you have to learn. One is art of losing and art of winning, handling success, handling failure. Second is who is your mentor or who are your mentors. Teacher can be your mentor, parent can be a mentor, right? A saint can be a mentor, a religious or a spiritual leader. Some of you are reading the Bible regularly. Who's your mentor? Jesus is your mentor. So it can be anybody. So who is your mentor and why? Why? That's third, which I have in mind for you. Secondly, is a strong network. That's why I'm saying don't limit yourself to few friends. Few close, there are close friends and there are also good friends. So your strong network is important. Next important thing is your mental health. Mental health is very vital. How do you handle your mental health? In the mental health comes prayer. Saina will talk about prayer. She'll talk about the silent hour. She'll talk about the meditation. She'll talk about devotion. That's mental health. So I think these are the things which your uh, youth generation is missing on their way to success. Is this handling, find the right mentors, learn to handle success and failure. And failure is not failure. Failure is an maturing, learning to do better. Okay. So Mritu, this was your question, which I thought I'd answer. Next question, Manogna. What's your question, Manogna?
Yes, ma'am. Being a national level tennis player, how did you manage to balance your studies and tennis practice?
Look, there was nothing else besides tennis and studies then. That's it. If there was a television, then there was a common TV time in the family, but it was not at the cost of studies and tennis. Then there was nothing else in it. If there were no cheating time, it was all focus time. Priority is very right. It's time to play, it's play. It's time to study, it's study. It's time to sleep, it's sleep. Right? It's time to go and do my jogging and exercise, it's time to do that. No cheating in that. Because everything led to the next. So I could successfully combine. I was probably one of the very few rare, or probably the only one at that time when I was growing up, to earn a tennis scholarship and academic scholarship at the same time. The reason was I was apportioning my time to play and time to read and study and time to rest and recover and time to be with my family, be home for food. So I think that credit also goes to the family your mother, father management? How did they help you? Right? School doesn't become flexible. School time is the same. Tennis coach time is the same. Home time is the same. But you need management. You need support. You need nutrition. You need rest. You need comfort. And that comes from parents and your lovely home, your sisters, your family, your brothers, your grandparents. And of course, you take a break. You enjoy your Sunday. You have a holiday. There's a Diwali. Don't do anything else. You only have patakas. No patakas, sorry. So no crackers now. Candles, etc., etc., right? We used to have that fun. So my priority was I had a schedule and I had my priorities and I took my breaks as I explained to you. But it was not long breaks, a short break, which would re-energize me, relax my body, sleep well, never overeat. But mommy's food was so delicious. There was always a tendency to eat more, but then you had to work it out. So I think that's the rail. There was nothing called third. If there were friends on the tennis court. There were friends, they were in the classroom. There were friends, they were in the group. There were friends at the playground. So friends also had a time. And no friends again after the school. No, no. Now it's time for me to study. So never mix your timings, badly mix them. Not friends at the time when you're doing homework. Oh, yeah, you study together? Yes, fine. Let's study together. So then you're studying together and not gossiping away. And no boyfriends at that time. Talking about boyfriend here and a boyfriend there. No gossip also. Homework, studying together, playing together, and once in a while chat about a bit. So I think doing the right thing at the right time is the key. That's how I could combine. Even while traveling, I was reading and studying, even while competing, traveling to play competitive tennis around the country. I was practicing going with books. That time you never had the Wikipedias and the Googles and the chat GPTs. You had to take your hard copy books and read them, which was very nice. That's how I prioritized. So whatever you like, if you keep a schedule, it helps. And priorities right. And never mix them. But there's a time for everything. So balance it out. And you can do both. Nobody says you can't. You can. But even amongst tennis and academics, what's your priority? Priority was studies. Because studies goes long time. Tennis will go up till my prime age of 30 maximum. But after that, your age is something else. You get to work and you start settling down. So priority, tennis and academics was academics. That's why I used to travel with books while competing. But after academics, it was tennis. And after tennis was the rest of the things. So this way, you can do both, but it's tough. It requires a lot of personal discipline. Okay, man, Manugnya? All right.
Yes.
Eunice, your question?
Yes, ma'am. At what age did you sow the seed of your vision to become what you are today?
I think as I grew up, as I grew up gradually, and what I saw around me, it affected me. I did not see a very good situation of uh, the a very good status of women during my time. Now it has become equal. Now it's equal opportunities. Then they were not equal opportunities. They were unequal opportunities. So when I was growing up, I had unequal opportunity. Means I had everything which a girl should get. But I didn't see equality around me. And I realized I have to grow up and benefit from this equal opportunity to build myself. So I think that's what mattered. And that's what the thinking was when I realized I was gifted. I was blessed. I had health. I had good health. I had good school. I had a great college. I had good love for studies. I could play a lot of tennis. And I had my great parents to nutrition me. I was blessed. I think that blessing, feeling that I was blessed and that I should build on myself, myself more, dawned. Comparatively, when I saw others were not equally using the opportunities. Why? Because their parents were telling them to prepare to be a migrant. Migrant means get married and go to somebody else's house. My parents were not talking about migrating, they were talking about building yourself. See, so this is where I got the feeling that while my friends' parents are preparing their daughters for something else, my parents are preparing me to build myself. So I'm gifted. Okay, Eunice? Okay, Lindsay, your question?
Ma'am, the question for you is what is the procedure to read a book?
What is the procedure
Yes,
or what
ma'am.
is the benefit?
It is actually what is the benefit of reading the
Oh,
book?
benefit. Oh, God. All good reading is like a new software in your brain. Any good reading is a new software in your brain, and your brain stores it. If you don't read, there's no storage. Garbage in, garbage out is the language of the computer. Knowledge in, knowledge out is the language of the brain. And what do you fill your brain with? You read, you see, you experience, you feel. All this is settling in your brain. This is all memories. And then the nerves are interconnecting. And that's what ChatGPT is doing today. What is ChatGPT? You feed, you feed, and you feed. And ChatGPT is now interconnecting the wires. That's what all this, that's what artificial intelligence is doing, what we have built with natural intelligence. So ChatGPT is not getting it from the ChatGPT has been fed with years and years of input. And now, with the keywords, wherever the keywords are, the ChatGPT is connecting the wires wherever about that person. Suppose you're talking about a particular person, you feed every knowledge about that person into the computer and with the keywords. And whenever you're asking about the keywords, it starts connecting. That's the artificial intelligence about. And that's what your brain is. Brain is so wired. It's all wired, intermingled from left to right brain. Left, right, left brain, right. So if you don't read, where are you feeding? So every book you read, everything you read is an entry into your brain cells. And those cells, and they all get created. The more you read, the more cells get created, and they start storing and they start interconnecting. That's why your essay writing is much better when you read more imaginative books. Vocabulary changes, vocabulary improves, speaking improves, writing improves because you fed knowledge. Therefore, schools insist on book reading, ask you to read these books. So, reading is a treasure which you're storing in your own brain with memory, finding the keywords. And then the more you remember, the more you recall, the cells get energized and they become active. And they immediate. That's why when you do revision before an examination, what are you doing? You are recharging those cells which you have read before, and they come back, and they come back as visualization, and you write your paper so well because you've read, you revised, you recall, and you experienced. You also practically trained yourself to take the exam. So all of you, if you first of all create those cells, then you nourish them by revision, and then you recall them, and then you start visualizing them, you do better. Your words, whatever I'm speaking now, has been learned over a period of growing up. We are not born with this language. We are not born with this knowledge. We are feeding all the time our software in the brain. And software is nothing but your brain cells. We are storing. These are called folders. See, your computer system is exactly the way on the pattern of the brain functioning. So while we have natural intelligence, computer chat GPTs at us or others or on keywords of the folder, and the folder comes up. And then you do. So book reading, every book that you've read, you never know what out of the book has got stored. Because something which you liked, something which you loved, and it gets stored. But the more you recall and you revisit, the more it refreshes. Or the more you think, the more you sit and reflect, the more you recall. That's it. Yes, Lindsay?
Yes, ma'am.
So it encourages you to read more.
Yes, ma'am.
See, the biographies which you read, you never know what part of life. When I used to read political thought in my master's in political science, I used to read Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, all of these, Montesquieu, I used to teach Chanakya, all these are thinkers. And you know what? Something of them stayed back in my memory. Why were they the way they were? What did they say on particular aspect? It stayed in my memory. So when I sat for the UPSC examination, when I came to essay, all this came together and I could write my essay. The vocabulary, the language, and the ideas. Therefore, if you put aside your time to read, even read your books, your own school books properly understood, it's a great storage. All right, next, whose turn? Tanish, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, what do you expect from our generation, and what do you suggest us to meet those expectations?
I think the biggest thing I would expect you all to be socially conscious, being socially aware of what's going around you, what's happening, and where do you fit in there. So being socially conscious. Number two, growing up, when you become socially conscious, it's not to it's not to make you selfish, it's to become more responsible. So if you become so that means you're aware of what's happening around the country and in the world. What's happening around in the world, you need to be aware. You can't be ignorant as a citizen. So you're now a global citizen. You happen to be in India, you're an Indian, but you're a global citizen today because everything is so interconnected with you that if you're not a global citizen, you will. Climate change is awareness. And see, India is not immune. No part of the world today is immune. And one internet, one viral video connects all of us. One negative news, fake news disturbs all of us. One good news makes us. So it's very, very important that you remain socially conscious. But consciousness for what? Self protection and community protection. Both. That means that is the meaning of being responsible, is to grow up to be not dependent, but to be prepared for life. This is, I think, very important for you as youngsters. Grow up to be so. That means read the newspaper, even if it's headlines. Pick up the time to listen to the radio news. And the best time to read All India Radio News, either in the evening, listen to the radio news. All India Radio News gives you a capsule. So All India Radio News is very useful, makes you socially conscious. Also keeps you aware of what are the new developments coming in India, new economic policies, social policies, government of India schemes, the budgeting. That's all general knowledge as well. So be aware for responsible life and self-dependent life. Grow up because you have to grow up, then take care of the generation which has brought you in. Just as they are nurturing you, you have to grow up to nurture them. It's responsibility. And responsible citizens, whatever skill you're getting ready for. Right? Right. Tejaswini, your message.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, since we're on the topic of book reading and all of that, what do you think is the one book that everyone should read?
Look, today there's no dearth of excellent books. There are self-help books, there are spiritual books, there are autobiographies, there are fictions. There's literature is amazing. There's not a section where you're not getting the classic books world over. But there has to be a basis for all that. And at this stage of the building, like some of you reading the Bible, read the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. If as children you start reading the Bhagavad, you may read whatever spiritual, they're reading the Bible, they're building up on value systems. Those of you who can read the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not converting you to become a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Sikh. It's only building you to be a strong human being. The art of living. The art, it makes you understand It's like karmic. It makes you karmyogi. It teaches you that you are all a karma bank. You all, whatever deeds you do goes into your karma bank. There's a karma bank. You draw out of it or you invest into it. So there's a karmic bank in our lives. Gita teaches you. But Gita doesn't teach you blind faith. It leaves you to a good human conduct. So I think this is one book which becomes the basis of all other reading. Spiritual books like the Bible and the Gita, as I've said, makes you very karma oriented, good deed oriented. Okay? So there are many books. Sorry. There are many, many books. But one book which should become a basis or a adhar is, if you're a if you're oriented, then I would say the Bhagavad Gita. Read, open any page and see what Lord Krishna told Arjuna. He's only telling him to be brave and courageous and do his duty. He's only telling him, and there are many other ways of doing it. He's telling him that to be a responsible. Now we don't be a coward. Now, oh, he can't say, oh, I can't kill my relatives. He'll say, no, now it's your duty to do what you do. Don't run away. So it's basically not saying, oh, you're not Hindu or a Sikh. No, it's telling you be a strong human being. And then he says, you do your duty and don't wait for rewards. Move on. You fail, you get up and do your duty again. You succeed, continue doing it. So, in a way, that's the art, the philosophy of living, the art of living. To keep building and read more and more books. There's no end. You can open up self help, you can go spiritual, you can go autobiographies. There's no dearth. And today, you can go to the YouTube. Today, you can go to YouTube to listen to some of these authors or these books. So YouTube today is a great friend if you search for the right subscriptions. Okay. Any other left? Tanish, your question?
Done. He's
You
asked
done?
you.
Okay, beta. Can you wind up, beta? We got a few minutes, 2 minutes.
Okay, children, I've been hearing you. Just going to share my thoughts with you. We'll talk about a life skill first. I'll try talking to you about a life skill every time we meet. Do you all get pocket money? Okay. But what you can do is, whenever you get a little money, you save a little. You start saving a little. Even if it's a little amount, you save, and every month you buy a packet of biscuits and you go share it with somebody who's not got food for the day. Do that every month. You will learn the value of money. You will learn the value of saving money. You will learn the value of earning money. And you will also say a prayer, may nobody sleep hungry. So once a month, try doing this, because you will also learn how to be income oriented. You will also learn what it is to earn clean, good money and save money. So that's a little life skill. You're not going to run after it, but you're going to work towards it. You must have a skill that makes you income oriented. You must have an attitude, attribute. You must be hardworking enough to be oriented towards financial independence, but in the right manner, in the correct manner. So you will save, be oriented towards earning and sharing, but buy that packet of biscuit, one packet of biscuit, okay, and lovingly share it. Okay, the other thing is, I've been hearing a lot of children talk about failure, mistakes. Now I'm going to try explaining this to you as a mother. What do you do when you wipe the slate clean? Whatever was written, you wiped it. But do you wipe the wisdom also? No. Do you wipe the learnings also? So that's what mistakes is all about. You can wipe them, but don't wipe the wisdom that comes with them. Don't wipe the learnings that come with them. And don't go rewrite the same mistake on the slate. You wiped it with grace. Don't go rewrite it. Okay? Okay. The third little thing, which is very dear to my heart, which I want to tell you. All our blessed holy books, the Quran, our Bible, our Bhagavad Gita, our Granth Sahib, our Holy Avasta, and all the other books, they are asking you to dedicate all that you do at the Lord's feet. That's how you purify what you do. You all have spoken about extracurricular activities, exams, studies. You do it for your parents, you do it for an audience, you do it for your friends, you do it for your teachers. Why not do it for God? Why not do it for the Almighty? Why not always know I'm studying for my God? I'm studying and I'm running for my God. I'm eating for my God. I'm looking after myself and doing the right thing for my God. Because my God is watching me. And God is the only one who appreciates your true effort. God is the only one who sees your heart. And God is the only one who's going to clap anyways.
We
That's
got to
how
wind up.
karmically also detach yourself from the result.
We
Because
need to wind up.
as long as the Almighty is happy, all is well. So keep this in mind. Bless you.
I could only add one little thing before we shut because we crossed the time given for the program is you may not see God, but you can listen to your own inner voice. And that's also considered another way of connecting the inner voice. Inner voice is the conscience within, your consciousness within. So if your inner voice tells you what you're doing is the right thing, it's God speaking to you. As Saina would say, God speaking to you. I would say probably inner voice speaking to you. Inner voice is linked with the spiritual divine, the universe. So I think that's a choice you all can make. Right? Thank you, children. I want to thank your entire school and your supervisors and the academic administrators for having. Let me get the school name again. Saina, the school name is
Global Edge School Hyderabad.
yeah, Global. That's right. And
Global
the
Edge.
yeah, and Global and the name of the supervisor who helped us,
Harshita ma'am.
Harshita. That's right. So thank you very much for your school and your administrators. Thank you, Saina, for thanking them also. And wish you all well. And there's a great idea which has come from Shakira, who handles the technology management of the whole program from behind the scene, is to make a digital library of all of you. That means anytime your program is coming, it goes into archives of the digital library of the book reading groups. That means you're there permanently forever as your batch. You can refer back to your batch to say this is what happened, and you can share it with your friends. I think the demonstrative learning team is now looking at how can we digitize or archive all your sessions onto our websites. Saina, I'm sure Shakira has spoken to you about this, but we're looking for now making a digital library of all our Batchit programs particularly, and your book readings. That means you are there even when you are older, 10 years from now. You can click on your session and see for yourself. You like the idea?
Yes,
So we
ma'am.
can create a digital library of your event. So
Yes.
Saina will and her team will put it together. You will be able to revisit it for your friends. And you grow up, you'll say, oh, this is how I used to look at that time. Now I'm looking like a gentleman or a nice young lady. Okay, thank you, children. Bye bye and wish you well. God bless.
Bless you. Ma bless
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Stay
Thank you
happy
so
and
much,
stay
ma'am.
healthy. Lots of love to all of you. Lots of love to your parents. Lot of regards to them. Lot of love to your teachers. Thank you. Stay
Thank
well.
you, ma'am.
Stay well. Stay like this. Stay this innocent. Stay this loving. Lindsay,
Thank you.
so happy that you're reading the Bible, beta. Eunice, so happy. Seek strength. Seek strength.
Okay. One word each only, but you want to say something? Mitu? Mitu? Mitika? One word each.
Ma'am, it's an honor to be in this session, and I have learned many things from you both. And I'm sure that I'll implement these suggestions in my life, and I will try to get to success.
Okay. Parting shot, Manognya?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this session. It was a really interactive one, and I learned a lot of new things that I would like to implement in my life.
Eunice?
Yes, ma'am. I am so grateful to have the honor to have a session with you and with Saina, ma'am. And I will remember this and implement all the values you have taught us.
Good, lovely. Thank you so much for imbibing it all. Yes, my young man.
Thank you, ma'am. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. This will be a best memory in my life. Thank you, ma'am.
How lovely. And Lindsay?
I would like to say that this is an amazing session and I've learned so many life skills, and thank you so much for all that you've given the life skills, how we need to implement it. I'm really grateful for that.
I'm sure, God willing, you and I, you will meet. You keep track of the demonstrative learning section. There'll be lots more coming up. Saina, thank you for putting the team together.
Tejaswini, you said?
No, mom, I haven't.
Yes.
Okay.
I just like to say that this was awesome and life's awesome. Keep living.
Yes.
Bless you. We'll stay connected. God bless you.
Lots of love. Jai
Thank you.
Harishma. Lots of love.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lots
Thank
of
you
love.
so
Big
much,
hug.
ma'am.
Big hug to all of you. Lots of love.